release tannic acid. And believe it or not, tannic acid is not a harmful chemical. It's actually found in many household products, including Coca-Cola, coffee, tea, maple syrup, and Jack Daniels. And a little bit more information about the Wisconsin River. The Wisconsin River is 430 miles long. It starts up at the northeastern part of the state and heads all the way down to where it meets up with the Mississippi River and Prairie du Chien. The Wisconsin River has 27 hydroelectric dams along the way, including the Kilbourne Dam, which is just about a mile upstream. The Kilbourne Dam was built back in 1909 and powers about 100,000 buildings in the area today. Follow the shoreline all the way to where you see this taller rock sticking out of the trees up here. You'll see our first rock formation on today's tour called Pulpit Rock. Now Pulpit Rock is its name from the traveling preacher would come and preach to his congregation in canoes below. And the preacher wasn't pretty long when it fellow. So every Sunday during his sermon, his congregation would fall asleep and slowly drift down the Wisconsin River. And the preacher finally got fed up with this. So we went into town and hired the local bartender and his piano to come and liven up the sermon a bit. So the next Sunday, the bartender came to his piano, the congregation came, and the preacher started preaching. But just like clockwork, the congregation fell asleep, and so did the bartender. Now the preacher was irate, and being the heavy-set man he was, he started jumping up and down on top of the rock, actually splitting the rock right in two. But he wasn't done yet. He climbed back up on top of the rock, and with one mighty shove, he pushed the piano right off the other side of the rock where it still sits today.
Oh wow, it is.
left, and then look up about 50 feet. You'll see our most famous rock formation on today's tour called Hawks Peak. In fact, Hawks Peak is so famous that it was actually featured on the cover of Life magazine back in 1962. And if you look at it, you can see that there's 3 ledges. There's number 1, a small middle one, and a lower one. The upper one can be considered as a Hawks upper beak. The lower one can be considered as a Hawks lower beak. And the small one in the middle can be considered as a Hawks tongue. Now if you stretch your imagination just a little bit further, you can see a slit or a notch on top of the upper ledge, acting as a Hawk's eye, and another ledge sticking out closest to us, acting as a Hawk's wing or shoulder that soars across the Wisconsin River. Off to your left, you'll see that staircase over there. While the passenger on one of my tours earlier today asked me, Sarah, where's that staircase go? And I didn't really know the answer. So when I got back to the dock, I asked my boss, and I said, hey, you know that staircase is on the river? He said, yeah, why? And I said, well, where does it go? He then looked at me and said, Sarah, it doesn't go anywhere. It just stays there all day long. special, and it's only found in 4 parts of the entire world. Potsdam, Germany, where it gets its name, Zurich, Switzerland, upstate New York, and here along the 10.5-mile stretch of the Wisconsin River. Now it's actually very fragile, and if I were to break off a piece for each and every one of you, you'd easily be able to crush it in the palm of your hand. And it's also very porous, allowing all the trees and plants to grow up out of the top and sides of it. And actually, this Potsdam sandstone is half the reason how Wisconsin Dells became Wisconsin Dells and got its name. Coming from the Winnebago tribe, Wisconsin means dark rushing waters, and Dells means flat layered rock. So when you put the two together, dark rushing waters and flat layered rock, you get the true meaning of Wisconsin Dells right before our eyes. start a new life in the new city of Kilbourne, which is named after the president of the railroad company. But 50 years later, in 1931, Kilbourne became known as Wisconsin Dells. Now, a couple years before that, in 1927, after everybody was long gone from the town of Newport, the ghost town was completely destroyed by a forest fire. Now, there's actually still one building remaining from the